Good evening, Mr. Zakelli.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor. I have a lengthy report tonight. I apologize.
Good evening, Mr. Zakelli.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor. I have a lengthy report tonight. I apologize in advance. The council may be aware there's a lot of movement in that front, and he reached out to me last Friday. We set a very rough agenda, and that's something that we hope will be scheduled at some point this month. Verona will be reaching out to the township on that front. Item number 2 I finalized the draft lease agreements for the community garden. This will be going live tomorrow. It's a first come, first served basis. Said we were going to do it a little bit sooner, but with the snow and whatnot, it delayed it. This will be on social media on the town website. If anyone has any questions about this, it's pretty much the same process as last year. They can call my office or email me. It's no problem. Item 3, we are diligently working on our annual financial statement, which is due this Friday, March 8th. Auditors have been here last week, and they'll be here this week. Once that's done, we'll be able to do a cap calculation on our budget, which I hope to introduce at the April council meeting. In the council packet, there was a recommendation from the Recreation Advisory Board concerning pool rates also. I want to discuss that for a moment. In January, I provided a memo to the council and to the Recreation Advisory Board concerning pool rates for 2024. In this memo, I recommended an increase to town rates by 4% and an increase in out-of-town rates by 6%. The Recreation Advisory Board agreed with my recommendations. This is important because, as the council is aware, last year we ran approximately an $86,000 deficit in the pool utility budget, which should be self-liquidating by raising these rates in addition to compensating for the increase in minimum wage and other naturally rising costs. It is my hope that this will plug some of that deficit. As such, if there are no objections from the council, the proposed rates are for a resident family, $609, resident individual, $434, resident couple or parent-child, $519, babysitter, $160, and a resident senior, $208. Again, this is for the whole season. For non-residents, the rates would be recommended as follows. Non-resident family, $1,600, non-resident individual, $848, non-resident senior citizen, $583, and for guest passes, there's a $2 increase for adults, bringing the total to $12, and a $1 increase for children, bringing that total to $8. Is there any objection from the council on these pool rates or comments?
No objection from me.
Can I
Yes.
chime in? I have absolutely no objection, and it was actually in my report. The Recreation Advisory Board took normally our meetings are not quite as long as it was for this. They took a lot of time, effort, and conversation went into these rates, and everybody felt confident at the end of that discussion that this was the way to go. So I'll just say that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. 2 more items, Deputy Mayor. In the packet also, there's a brief survey included for the council's review and consideration as it relates to paving in Cedar Grove. If the council can provide feedback to me by the end of this week, that would be appreciated to decide if we have to disseminate it or if we have to make any amendments. And I just do have 2 items for executive session, one for personnel and one for contract negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Zakelli. Madam Clerk, do you have a report tonight?
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, members of council. I do not have a report at this time. However, there is an item on the agenda that I'd like to address at that time.
Okay, thank you. Township Attorney, good evening.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I don't have anything for open right now.
Okay, great, thank you. Councilwoman Miga,
Good evening, Mayor.
good evening.
Of course Michelle has something to say. Good evening, everybody here and at home. The Recreation Advisory Board had a meeting February 7th with great discussion over mostly about community pool. Everything went well, and as we just saw, we heard the rates. I also attended a monthly Historical Society meeting on February 10th. That too was a very healthy conversation, and they are busy planning their 2024 events, so I advise everybody to look out for them. Their next one is March 27th at 7:30 at the Cedar Grove Library. Everybody is welcome to attend this free program, and it's called New Jersey Resources for Genealogy. And on February 29th, I attended the annual State of the County address. This was a presentation by our county executive and his staff as to what went on throughout the year and his accomplishments for Essex County and what the future goals were. for Essex County. I also would like to say that I've been on the council for less than a year, and I'm happy to see the several new businesses moving into Cedar Grove in such a short time. I wish them all great successes here in Cedar Grove, and I'm sure they will see our community support them. And one final thing, I hope the community will support the TREPS program once again this year. Now, this is, this program holds a little special place in my heart because I was the FSA president that brought it in. So it's Sunday, March 24th, from 4 to 6 at the high school gym. And I'm very happy to see that it's still as successful as it was long ago. That's it.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Misseri, good evening.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor. Just a couple of things. One, I wanted to acknowledge and report to the public, for those that haven't read about it yet. Looks like our District 40 legislators are working really hard to tackle two important issues that affect us, not just the residents of the entire state. One is their crime bill. I'm looking at the bill, so I have it. A2215 that's the Assembly bill, and then the Senate bill S947. This is a bill that's going to increase the degrees of the crime for unlawful taking of a motor vehicle. So harsher prison sentence, mandatory prison sentence for second-degree upgrades. There's also a second bill that for burglary. There's an upgrade to that, which mandatory jail time. This is huge for our town. I know that I see that the chief is here, and this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. You know, we're finally getting a little help from the state. Without having some enforcement and some help from the legislature and the governor to ensure that everybody's deterred from doing these crimes, it's going to be difficult for our police officers to do their job. So this is a huge improvement, and I'm very happy that the district is moving forward with this. The other one is going to help us a little bit with the Peckman River. Excuse me. Bill A3927. There's a appropriations of $500,000 to be shared. I think, Mr. Zucchelli, is that 4 towns or 3?
4.
Is it Verona included? So Verona, Cedar Grove, Woodland Park, and Little Falls. And this is for dredging and restoring the Peckman River. So this is going to be, big improvement for a town, and gives us a little bit of money. I don't know how that's going to, it hasn't been allocated yet as far as how the towns are going to deal with that, right? I mean, it's in the early stages where it
Deputy
hasn't
Mayor,
been passed.
may I comment on this?
Yes, please.
April 12th, I have a meeting scheduled with our legislative delegation, Senator Corrado, Assemblyman Barlos, and Assemblyman DePhillips, at Town Hall here with the manager and deputy manager from Verona, the mayor and business administrator from Little Falls, and the mayor and borough administrator from Woodland Park. And our engineer. All 4 towns that are recipients of the funding in this bill will be meeting here to discuss a joint effort for permitting, as well as bank stabilization, which is our main priority. That's the initial step of that meeting, and we hope we can work together as kind of strengthen numbers approach with the DEP. And, as the council's aware, we did just secure a 5-year statewide general permit for the cleaning and desnagging of the river, but this goes a little bit broader towards the bank stabilization efforts.
It gives us some additional funding besides, what we
In capital,
in
correct.
capital, right? The other question I had was for you, Mr. Zucchelli. I know that we've been talking a lot about improvement here on capital and giving the police what they need. What can you report to the public as far as what's available for our police department this year in capital to address some of these issues?
Sure. I had the good fortune today, through your deputy mayor, of attending with the chief the training, active shooter training at the school across the street. And I got to watch our officers go throughout the school and truly see the necessity for them to have the latest and greatest technology. And the chief and I have worked very diligently together to find a fair capital solution for what the police need. Again, barring any major cap issues, it's my hope that in capital this year we do include a drone that the chief has presented with thermal imaging capabilities, a light, speaker to speak through. That way, in the event that there is there's a burglary or car theft and people flee on foot, the drone can be deployed. You could use the thermal imaging to seek where the suspects fled to. Also included is outfitting some of the cars with new light bars, or uniforming the light bars, I should say. These light bars, as the chief presented to the council, they have better, I think they call them takedown lights.
Yeah, it's a more common effect in certain situations, by light patterns.
So the light patterns will be unified, and also that in the event that they have to light up a neighborhood, they'll be a little bit more, uniform in that approach. There's new rifles included in the operating budget this year. The rifles, I believe, are nearing 20 years old now. So we're going to upfit those. New body armor for all frontline officers will be in this year's capital to the tune of $70,000 as well. So
And we had from last year, and we had some grants for cameras, and is there anything this year? How do we look with the cameras, and can you talk about that a little bit so the public knows?
Yeah, Deputy Mayor, through you, we do have cameras situated throughout the township, ALPRs, automatic license plate reading cameras. They're stationed throughout the township, but also recently, our police cars, I believe, were outfitted with these cameras also.
All the police cars are outfitted with ALPR cameras. We also have a pending grant we may be seeing as early as the end of this month. It could provide us money to purchase more ALPR cameras, stationary cameras that we can put around town. And as far as grants, we'll also be applying for grant money to replenish some funds for body armor. That'll be April.
The ALPRs are a great benefit to the township. They flag a car that comes in that may be stolen or non-registered, and it reports it instantly to the police officer in the car. So it's a tool that the chief has been really prominent. I think we purchased 4 last year and put 4 in. Now they're in every one of the patrol cars as well. All the police cars got new MTD computers. They went from Panasonic Toughbooks to what's the new G-Tech. So they're all new cameras and computers in the patrol cars.
So, obviously for me especially, having our community safe is priority. And I know that the police department does a great job. And we want to make sure that the council, speaking for myself, but we want to make your job easier, chief, and the police. And we work well together. And now, given that, our legislators in our district are also working hard to help with these laws that have been a problem, right? So we can't have it where you arrest somebody, you go through the effort of arresting somebody, and then they're released right away, and there's really no deterrent. So I'm happy to see, and I wanted to acknowledge our Senator Corrado, Assemblyman DePhillips, and Assemblyman Barlas for thinking forward and knowing what truly affects the residents of Cedar Grove, their district, and obviously the state. So I'm hoping that this bill passes and that, we're able to move forward with that, and hopefully everything starts to calm down a little bit. And we'll see how that goes. So that's it. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Zazali, good evening.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor Scavage. I just what Councilman Messeri was mentioning regarding the Peckman River and the safety in town and the opportunities that are hopefully going to be available for our police department. I think that those are all great things for the town. So I was glad to hear what he had to say about that. And if I may, Mr. Zakelli, if I could ask you a question. We had a couple of residents came in, I think it was February 5th. They were concerned about the flooding on Lindsley. Is there any update on that?
Through you, Deputy Mayor, after that meeting, I went right to my office and emailed the county. I had a call with the county engineer last week on an unrelated matter, and we are trying to schedule all of our professionals to get together to visit the site and try to come up with some type of solution or plan for these residents. But instantaneously, I went back to my office, I emailed the county. I'm in touch with the county on this and other projects. There's no easy solution, but I think with all the proper people together, we can come up with something, I hope.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Nothing.
Okay,
Nothing
great,
else.
thank you. I just have three quick things tonight. First, I just wanted to echo what Councilman Messeri said about the support of our LD40 representatives. I know you guys are probably sick of us singing their praises all the time, but it is warranted. Assemblyman D. Phillips and Assemblyman Barlas and our Senator Corrado, they go to bat for us time after time. They know what the pressing issues are in our town because they're here, right? They come to all of our events. They talk to us. They respond to us when we have questions on behalf of our residents. So we're very lucky to have them. I know we're all very shaken by the car thefts in town, and the simple fact that, you see these guys have been arrested over and over again. They have long rap sheets and they continue to get away with it. So when I received that letter, from Assemblyman Barlas, I was like, yes, someone's doing something. So I was very excited about that, and I'm just very happy that we have them representing us here in Cedar Grove. On a much lighter note, I got to go see Matilda at the high school over the weekend with my daughter who is 6, and I went in there a little bit worried because I knew it was a long show, and she's 6, right? So this show was so phenomenal. It not only held her attention, but she was like dancing in the aisle. Just the level of talent over there at the high school, and I know it's Miss Jessen is the head of the music department over there. And just the talent of these students, it was a really outstanding experience. I left there inspired, and now we have Matilda on repeat on Netflix. So it was a really great show. Every year after year they deliver, and I know I don't have to tell the community to support them because it was hard to get tickets, right? Everyone was there. So really great job by that crew over there. So congratulations, Cedar Grove High School theater department. And then my third item, just quickly, because I know that Mayor Peterson would say it if she were here. With the community garden applications opening tomorrow, I encourage you to please, if you're interested in gardening or even just meeting some people that you might not otherwise have known in the community, come out. Just apply for a bed. It's such a cool spot. It's such a great experience to see people coming together and experiencing something together as a community. It's a great place tucked away behind, or I guess as part of Morgan's Farm. It's a quiet little tranquil area, and I know Mr. Young, you put your heart and soul into keeping that place going, so we appreciate you.
I'm concerned, Deputy. I see him in a sling, though. I hope that's not going to impact.
That had nothing to do with
the
gardening.
Is that?
Nothing slows you down, Mr. Young, and we appreciate you. It's such a really special place. And I know last year was our first year, and some folks were like, oh, I didn't even know that it was happening. It's happening, right? So get your application in as soon as you can. I know that there'll be instructions available tomorrow on how to do that, and I encourage you all, even if you don't have a green thumb, to come check it out for sure. And that is everything I had on my update. So I'm going to move on to item 6. It's a consent agenda, and I have here in my notes that I can take these all together. Is that okay? Perfect. So I'm going to read through them. Consent agenda 6A, to consider a resolution concerning approval of raffle application, Cedar Grove Elks number 2237. 6B, to consider resolution concerning approval of the raffle application, Community Church of Cedar Grove. 6C, to consider resolution concerning approval of raffle application, Cedar Grove High School Lacrosse Booster Club. 6D, to consider resolution concerning approval of raffle application, Verona PBA Local 72 Civic Association. And then finally, 6E, to consider resolution concerning approval of raffle applications, Temple Shalom of West Essex. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Messeri,
Yes.
Councilwoman Miga,
Yes.
Councilman Zazali,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Skaffridge.
Yes. Item 7, new business. 7A, to consider resolution amending the Jake's Law, State of New Jersey Green Acres Program for improvements at the lower playground within Community Park located near Little Falls Road and Slattery Drive application. Mr. Zakelli, can you give us some more information on this?
Yes, Deputy Mayor, this is an amendment to a prior resolution regarding the Jake's Law application, where the township seeking to obtain a 75% matching grant from the DEP for the reconstruction of the community park playground. This resolution amends the amount to $1,441,529.08, and if awarded, the grant would require out-of-pocket costs from the township not to exceed $360,382.27, with the difference being paid from the grant that is Jake's Law.
Great, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Great, roll call?
Councilman Messeri?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miga?
Yes.
Councilman Zazali?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Savage?
Yes. Item 7B, to consider resolution opposing A4 ACA A legislative bill. Mr. Zakelli.
Yes, Deputy Mayor. A4 ACA is a legislative bill that recently passed. It sets forth the next round of 2025 affordable housing obligations. It's a long resolution that will be published on our website in the event the public wants to read it, but I do feel that reading a few key takeaways from the resolution would be beneficial for the purposes of the record. This resolution opposes A4 ACA, a legislative bill mandating and imposing unmanageable and impractical requirements for meeting affordable housing obligations. Whereas specifically A4 ACA maintains that 1, the Council on Affordable Housing is abolished, 2, the Department of Community Affairs will calculate municipal obligations on 40% of population growth for qualifying affordable housing based off of the following provision. 2A, projected household change for a 10-year round in a region shall be estimated by establishing the household change experienced in the region between the most recent federal census and the second most recent federal census. This household change, if positive, shall be divided by 2.5 to estimate the number of low and moderate income homes needed to address low and moderate income household change in the region, and to determine what regional perspective need for a 10-year round of low and moderate income housing obligations are. If the change is 0 or negative, the number of low and moderate income houses needed to address low to moderate income household change in the region will be 0. 3. A4 ACA maintains that municipalities will be immune from builders' remedy lawsuits, but this immunity is revoked if deadlines are not met or if it is determined a municipality is not committed to complying with this obligation, including not updating its public website. 4. Residents and third parties can challenge plans in the newly created Affordable Housing Dispute Resolution Program, which will certify administrative agents and municipal housing liaisons to monitor compliance and bring a challenge before a county-level housing judge to determine compliance. 5. Towns out of compliance would pay a fine of an unspecified amount. 6. Challenged plans must be revised and adopted by December 31, 2025 and March 16, 2026, respectively. Failure to do so would allow builders' remedy lawsuits to be filed unless the municipality can prove it missed the deadline due to factors out of its control. 7. The establishment of 2 boundaries for the entire northern part of the state with 3 special masters will oversee all municipalities within the designated areas. 8. Using 3 factors to determine need: equalized non-residential valuation factor, income capacity factor, and municipal land capacity factor. Each factor is weighed equally. And 9, providing a cap on bonus credits for age-restricted housing. This is the most recently passed bill by the legislature, and it does set forth the standards for the next round of affordable housing obligations that every town in the state is going to have to deal with.
So this is something that we've been preparing for, and, you know, the council has, for the last several years, have tried to prepare, not knowing, right, what was going to pass. And, you know, I understand that the land capacity factor is still there, which is why we purchased, I don't know how many acres now.
Roughly 60.
60 acres of land and committed that land to green acres. That's going to obviously still help, even with this change in the law. So I'm happy that the council had the foresight for the last several years to do that. However, this is still going to impact us greatly. And unfortunately, reading on social media and other things, you see people complaining about building. But you got to understand this before someone could start complaining about the construction and the building that's going on. This is something that we're working very hard. We're passing this resolution to put it out there on the record how this council has, effectively, disagrees with this analysis. I would ask council, not to put council on the spot, but can you give a very short comparison between this, new statute with what we had before?
My reading of it is, it really creates these independent special masters that oversee large swaths of the state. It's really only broken up into north, central, and south. So, and yeah, I think North Jersey, which is essentially the middle of the state up, has 2 regions and 3 masters that are going to oversee it. So it's no longer going to be through the courts, it's going to be through these special housing masters, if you will. One of the objections that I see right off the bat is that land is very specific to its geographical location. That's why there's so many towns in New Jersey, and each one is very independent and unique. So to kind of put everything into that kind of large of a box, to me, is going to be problematic right off the bat. It creates also this dispute resolution system that's different than what it is now, where everything is done through the courts, through declaratory judgment actions, and through special masters, through fair share. This is going to be a little bit of a change in terms of oversight and then ultimate implementation. Third, like as you indicated, the land factor is still an equal weighing factor. There's really only 3 factors, and they're each weighed equally. I disagree with that in that, again, each town being different, economic situation, land availability situation, and then I think the third factor was
Income.
and income, all vary from town to town. And I think to weigh those equally is perhaps a bit of a broad stroke attempt to be equal, but at the same time, this process is rather unique, and those are going to be the challenges for each municipality as if this does pass, as they move forward into this process. So I think it's going to be a challenge. It's a whole new system, and I think it's going to be problematic to implement, frankly.
Can I just also comment on, the council can also chime in on the builder's remedy lawsuits will destroy a municipality. I mean, losing your immunity, you probably see it more than me, council. Losing your builder's remedy immunity takes all control away from the municipality. Right? Are you familiar with?
Yeah. So if you had filed your declaratory judgment action in the past and had been diligently working towards resolving your fair share allocation, you would have the immunity. Now it's setting these kind of deadlines, and then you have to show why you're not meeting those deadlines. I guess in theory it's similar, but that's going to be interesting how it plays out, because there's really no criteria offered in the statute of, what is a reasonable request for an extension. Right? I have a feeling that's going to be done on a rather ad hoc type basis. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ultimately does play out, because there really are no standards in determining that. And can a town who is trying but not succeeding lose their immunity? It's possible. The easy kind of explanation is the towns that do nothing and sit on their hands and do it intentionally and willfully, but then you're going to have towns that are in more of that gray area of, maybe hitting legitimate roadblocks. Who knows if that will rise to the level of satisfying the burden of the special masters? We don't know.
See, and that's the part that I zeroed in on to comment further what Mr. Zacchelli had mentioned. There are townships that willfully, are trying to delay it, but the towns that in good faith in the past have tried to follow the law, now it's irrelevant, because they've created it appears to me they created it where it's you have a deadline, and that's it. You don't meet that deadline, you lose your immunity, and it's over. So there's no flexibility, it appears, for towns like ours that have always worked in good faith to try to fully comply. But that's going to be a problem. But anyway, thank you for the explanation, council. I think the public got a better understanding of it. Certainly, I'm in favor. I know we haven't passed the motion yet or voted, but I'm certainly in favor of the resolution. I wish the resolution had more impact on the law, but at least it's putting it out there how Cedar Grove feels about this, and how it affects our community.
Thank you, Councilman Misery. I have one quick question, either for council or Mr. Zakelli. As one of the non-lawyers up here, and, you know, before I was up here on the council as a resident, this was, it sounded like word salad to me, right? And I, you know it now because I've studied it and worked with you to, you know, to figure out what's what. But I think it would be very beneficial if we could prepare something for the general public, not in lawyer speak, no offense. I appreciate you, but, so that they can really understand, because I know, Mr. Zakelli, I see you fielding, very thoughtful emails from our residents who are really worried about the future of this town, and you send them very thorough explanations of what's going on, and the very last one that you sent, I think it was last week, I said, wow, this would really make a great like Q&A document for our website. I don't know if that's something we can do, but I would love to see that, so that if someone, we're gonna get more questions, right? So it'll make, I think, everyone's lives easier and also help our residents really understand what we're up against. And
I could forward you my email response, and if we want to,
Sure.
we can work together on some type of collaboration to
Absolutely.
break the bill down and put it on the website for the public to see.
yeah, thank you. I think that would be great to have. So, okay. So, is there anything else on this before we do roll call? Nope. Okay.
Do we have a motion?
May I have a motion, please?
Deputy Mayor, I would like to make the motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Misery,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mika,
Yes.
Councilman Zazali,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Scavage.
Yes. Item 7C, to consider pending ordinance number 24-928, a capital ordinance providing funding for the purchase and installation of water meters for the Township of Cedar Grove, and the appropriation of $1,500,000 for such purpose. Mr. Zakelli, can you?
Yeah, so, thank you, Deputy Mayor. This is right in my wheelhouse. As the council may remember, in last year, 2023, the council put $1,943,593 in the capital improvement fund. What that meant was, the township decided to use some of its surplus through pilot money and put it into the capital improvement fund. Didn't require any bonding, didn't require the creation of any debt. It was the council's plan to use that money to pay for the water meters. As the council is aware, at the last meeting, the contract was awarded for the water meter purchase and installation. And then this is establishing basically the guidelines to use $1.5 million of the $1,943,593 that was set up in last year's capital improvement fund to pay for the meters. You can't just have the money sitting in capital improvement without delineating the purposes that you could spend it on. This ordinance sets forth that importantly, and it says, music Myers, it doesn't create any debt for the township. There's no interest we have to pay. It's our money. It's just allocating our money out of the last year's capital improvement line for a specific purpose. It's on sheet 26 of the adopted municipal budget in 2023, if anyone cares to actually see that dollar amount, but that's what the number was.
Great, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Oh, wait, do I have to read? 928, sorry. I move for introduction of pending ordinance 24-928 to be published in full in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a pending ordinance with public hearing scheduled for April 1st, 2024.
Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Misery,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mika,
Yes.
Councilman Zazali,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Scavage.
Yes. Item 7D, to consider pending ordinance number 24-929, an ordinance to amend Part 2, General Legislation, Chapter 208, Rental Property of the revised General Ordinance of the Township of Cedar Grove. Madam Clerk, would you like to expand on that?
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening again, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and members of the audience. This ordinance amends Chapter 208 of the Code of the Township of Cedar Grove concerning short-term rentals of homes and the amenities therein. Recently, the township received complaints from tenants of illegal apartments in residential zones, and there was no mechanism to enforce the rental of those dwellings at this time. Additionally, the police department received calls to scenes where certain amenities such as swimming pools, hot tubs, and tennis or basketball courts are being rented for a few hours, causing safety hazards for those responding, including limited access to the property due to excessive parking in areas, making it hard for a fire truck or ambulance to traverse the roadway. As the council is aware, if a property is permitted to be rented, either as a matter of right or as a non-conforming use, The property must be registered with my office to ensure that there is adequate insurance in place. This ordinance also protects the residential character of the area designated for residential use. I'd like to thank the police chief for spearheading this effort, as well as the township manager and township attorney for their input on this ordinance.
Great, thank you, Madam Clerk. May I have a motion, please?
I move for introduction of pending ordinance 24-929 to be published in full in the Verona Cedar Grove Times as a pending ordinance with a public hearing scheduled for April 1st, 2024.
Thank you. Second, please?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Messeri,
Yes.
Councilwoman Miga,
Yes.
Councilman Zazali,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Scavage.
Yes. Item 8, approval of bills. Madam Clerk, you're up again.
Thank you. Be it resolved by the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, New Jersey, that the summary of bills having been duly audited and found to be correct are hereby ordered paid in the aggregated amount of $3,074,890.59.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please?
Councilman Messeri,
Yes.
Councilwoman Miga,
Yes.
Councilman Zazali,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Scavage.
Yes. Item 9, agreements and contracts. 9A, to consider resolution concerning award of contract for Township Planner to the Planning Board and Zoning Board of Adjustment to Jason Castler, PP of Castler Associates. Township Manager, can you expand on this, please?
Sure. As we have a zoning board and a planning board in town, and for professional service, they have an engineer, they have an attorney, and one of the additional services that the boards retain is that of a planner. Mr. Kessler's been the planner for the township even before I was on the zoning board, about 8 years ago. He's been on quite a long time. And this resolution awards him a professional service contract to the, I believe it's till the end of the year?
Yes.
Till the end of 2024, to serve as planner of the zoning and planning board. An important function for the township planner is to review the master plan, which is due every 10 years. We're not due right now, but he does assist in that when the time comes.
Okay, thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
A roll call, please.
Councilman Messeri,
Yes.
Councilwoman Miga,
Yes.
Councilman Zazali,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Scavage.
Yes. Item 10, meeting is now open to residents of the township wishing to be heard on any item on or off the agenda concerning township business. Mr. Young.
Two quick things. Steve Young, 18 Young Avenue. I can't take all the credit for down there at the garden. Gary Gray, Joe Carter, Amy Canefield Rybin really put a lot of effort into that. And also, I am working again, we are working again with the students from the high school. I personally enjoy working with these students, teaching them gardening and everything. Second item I have is the Memorial Day Parade. I've only been marching, 64 years in that parade, from Cub Scout to Little Leaguer to fireman. Last year, that was very disappointing, the parade. I'd like to know if somehow we can get it back for a short distance from Bowden Road to Little Falls Road on Route 23, because every year I drive one of the engines, and going down Bowden Road, there's hardly anybody there. And I think, personally, my own opinion is, I think it's an insult to the men and women who gave their life so we can celebrate that holiday. Is there any way to get it back on 23, or do we have to approach the state police or the DOT?
Mr. Zakelli, you
Sure,
you know about that?
Yeah, I've tried reaching out to the DOT. They want no part of closing the state highway, especially with the new road diet and lane configuration. I think this is going to be slightly exacerbated this year by the work that PSE&G is doing, I believe, on Bowden Road and Route 23 and Rugby and all the other streets over there. As I indicated during the budget hearing and during the last council meeting, what the township's hoping to do this year is have a barbecue and a ceremony at Community Park with the fire department, police department, rescue squad, and actually getting some veterans over there to do a proper ceremony to honor their service to the country and to pay respect and memorialize those veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. I believe that will be more well attended. I hope it's something that'll pull the community together because, as you indicated, last year's attendance at the parade was poor. And I think reinventing the wheel a little bit, doing a barbecue, bringing everyone to Community Park by the Cannon, will be nice to have a ceremony up there to pay our respect to the fallen.
So if I read into what you're saying, there's not going to be a parade.
That is correct.
Well, we used to enjoy when the VFW was up there, after the parade was over, they invited everybody up there to have warm beer and cold hot dogs. So,
Well,
I hope.
We'll be giving you warm hot dogs and cold soda. So, but no, I do hope that the Deputy Mayor, if I just may continue
Yeah,
briefly,
please.
I hope that this is something that I spoke about with the rec department. I spoke about with the council during budget hearings with the police chief. It's getting harder and harder to even organize participants in the parade. And the veterans last year, they who wanted to celebrate Memorial Day, they felt that it was really it was a parade without a recognition of the veterans. And our hope this year is to really provide them with the recognition of the fallen that they deserve, and then also have it at the park. Hopefully some families can come, the pool will be open. So we're trying to draw the public to it even more.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. Anyone else wishing to be heard tonight? Nope, okay. Moving on, item 11 is adjournment.
Executive.
Okay, so we're gonna go into executive session. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act permits the exclusion of the public from meeting of the mayor and the council in certain circumstances, and whereas the mayor and the council of the Township of Cedar Grove are of the opinion that such circumstances exist, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the council of the Township of Cedar Grove, County of Essex, State of New Jersey, that the public shall be excluded from discussion of any action on the executive session of the meeting of the mayor and the council of March 4th, 2024. General nature of the subject matters to be discussed are personnel and contract negotiation. 3, it is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public as soon thereafter as it is deemed in the public interest to do so. Item 4, this resolution shall take effect immediately. So motion for adjourn?
They need a motion for
Motion for executive session, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.